Thinking about launching a business in Croatia? It's an incredible opportunity, but let's be honest, the process can feel a little complicated, especially if you're a foreign national. So, what do you actually need to do to get started? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break it all down step by step.
Hello, entrepreneurs and everyone striving for business compliance. Welcome. This explainer was made with one goal in mind, to give some real, practical support to you, the company owners, the managers, and, of course, all of you who are planning on becoming one. We're here to make things clear so you can focus on building something great. So let's jump right in. So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the steps that everyone has to take. Then we get to a fork in the road, where your path depends on your citizenship. We'll explore the route for EEA citizens and then the path for third country nationals. After that, we'll dive into what it really means to work in your own company and wrap it all up with a quick summary and what you should do next. All right, first things first. Let's start on common ground. It doesn't matter where you're from, the EU, the US, Australia, anywhere. The initial process of getting your company registered here in Croatia is exactly the same for everybody. Think of these 9 steps as the universal foundation for your business. This is your starting block. Whether you're setting up a d.o.o, which is your standard limited liability company, or the simpler j.o.w, everyone, and I mean everyone, starts right here. Let's run through these real quick. The first part is all about planning. You've got to pick a name, figure out exactly what your business will do, find an office space, draft your founding documents, and name your directors. Then, you make it official. You get your documents notarized, pay the fees, deposit your starting capital, and file everything with the court. And finally, you wrap up with the post-registration stuff, like getting your tax number. See? Everyone follows this same playbook. Okay, so you've done all that and your company officially exists. Congratulations. But now, the path splits in two. This is the moment where your citizenship becomes the single most important factor, especially if you plan on actually working in your new company. So this is the crucial question you have to ask yourself. What is my legal status? Because the answer to that question is going to send you down one of two very, very different roads. And the distinction is actually pretty simple. Are you EEA citizen? That means you're from any EU country, or Iceland, Liechtenstein, or Norway. Citizens of Switzerland also fall into this group. If you're from literally any other country in the world, you're considered a third country national. Let's tackle the EEA path first because it's the easier one. So, if you're holding a passport from an EEA country or Switzerland, you're in luck. The whole process is much more straightforward for you. Let's take a closer look. And this all boils down to one fundamental principle: the freedom of work and self-employment. As an EEA citizen, you have the right to set up a business and work in any other member state, including Croatia, with almost no hurdles. And here's the real game changer. You do not need a work permit to be employed in the company you just created. You basically have the same rights as a Croatian citizen. Your only major task? If you're staying longer than 3 months, you just need to pop down to the local police station and register for temporary residence. That's it. Pretty simple, right? Okay, so what if you're not from the EEA? If you're a third country national, this is where the rules get a bit more specific, so you'll want to pay close attention to the details here.
For third country nationals, it all comes down to your role. Let's look at 2 scenarios. In scenario A, maybe you're just the owner and director. You're managing things from a high level, but not doing the day-to-day work. In that case, you don't need a work permit. But in scenario B, if you're going to be a hands-on founder who's actively working in the company, then you absolutely must get a work and residence permit.
So let's dig into that second scenario, because it's the most common one. You want to work in the company you built. The rules for getting that permit all hinge on one critical number: your percentage of ownership. And this chart says it all. There is a huge dividing line at 51%. Do you own at least 51% of the company, making you the majority owner? Or do you own less than that? Because the rules for these 2 situations couldn't be more different. Now, if you are the majority owner, you get one massive advantage. You can get a work permit without the government doing what's called a labor market test to see if a local could do your job. But, and this is a big but, this privilege comes with 3 very strict, non-negotiable conditions you have to meet. Condition number 1 is about investment. You must invest a minimum of about 26,500 euros into your company's capital and assets. This proves you have some real skin in the game, and you're making a serious financial commitment. Condition number 2 is about employment. Your company is required to hire at least 3 Croatian citizens.
And not just for part-time gigs. They have to be on full-time, permanent contracts. This ensures your business is actively contributing to the local job market.
And condition number 3 is about your salary. You have to pay yourself a gross monthly salary that is at least 1.5 times the average gross salary in Croatia. This shows that you're a high-value contributor, not just using the company as a loophole. So what if you own less than 51%? Well, in that case, there are no shortcuts. Your company has to go through the standard labor market test, it needs to apply for a permit on your behalf, and basically prove to the authorities that there wasn't a suitable Croatian or EEA citizen who could fill your role. Phew, we've definitely covered a lot of ground. So let's take a breath, put it all together, and talk about what your next steps should be. This table is the perfect cheat sheet. For an EEA citizen, it's simple. No work permit needed, just remember to register your residence. For a third country national who owns more than half the company, a work permit is required, but you can get it as long as you meet those 3 big conditions: the investment, the hiring, and the salary. And don't forget, that permit also covers your right to live here.
Of course, every single business journey is unique, and your situation might have some specific quirks. So if you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can write to us at the email address you see on the screen. We are always here to help you with all your entrepreneurial challenges. I really hope this breakdown has helped clear things up and given you the confidence to move forward. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next explainer.